Well guys, I've had my 2001 Pontiac Aztek GT for roughly about 1 month at the point that this video is being filmed. It's been like, three and a half weeks-ish. And I can't stand it anymore. Let's start tearing it apart. So, today is February 13th. And just so you know, because my vlog schedules are always kind of off, But today is February 13th. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun is still out and it's actually not too cold outside. It's in the mid-40s. And I thought, let's just start tearing it apart. Let's start tearing this engine apart. I'm probably not going to get as far as I'd like to today, because I know I will be losing daylight soon. But let's just start doing it, because every time I see this car, I obviously just want to drive it for one, but I also start it up. And the only real reason why I'm starting it up is because I don't want, what gas is left back there to freeze up in the lines, or I don't want anything under the, hood to seize up. I mean, for crying out loud, it's been sitting for a long time as it is without a whole lot of activity. So I come out here and I start it from time to time, but I know by running it, even for as little as, I do run it, I'm potentially causing more damage to this engine because of this either intake or head gasket leak. And I just, for one, don't really want to do that anymore. The temperatures, I think at this point, for the next week or so, aren't going to be drastically freezing like they have been. So, I mean, we could be coming out of winter, the winter. I know that they're calling for some flurries and stuff later on this week, but there again, I think hopefully a majority of the snow is gone, and hopefully gone long enough for me to maybe complete this entire task of tearing this motor down. I just figured, what the heck, let's just go ahead and start tearing it down. Let's get a peek at what is actually going on under that hood. Now, for those of you who might be watching this video as a tutorial on how to tear apart your 3400 V6, I must tell you, I have made many repair videos throughout my time on YouTube, and I've never done anything this extensive. So that's one of the reasons why I bought this car, is because I have always wanted to have the opportunity to tear a motor apart, tinker around with it, fix it, do stuff like that, put it back together, and hope that it runs. Now, I'm not going into this 100% blind, of course. I have watched other videos on YouTube and such on how to do this. But I just want to say that, if you are using this as a tutorial for yourself, that's fine. But I'm not a professional, so I don't want to be held accountable for any kind of instances that may not work out in your favor. So this video, these next few vlog videos in regards to this engine and such, these are pretty much documenting the process of trying to restore my Aztek to its, to the point where you can actually drive it. And, I'm only doing it myself again because I know even if this engine is put back together with new gaskets and all kinds of stuff, there's still a chance that the damage is already done, and I might have to have a motor put in it anyway. So I'm trying it myself first. That's why I want to do this, in hopes that this engine is still savable. I still think it is, but I know there is going to be a chance that it could be complete junk. And I obviously won't know until it's put back together, and we cross our fingers and hope that you know, it's going to be an okay engine. It's already an old engine. This thing has 170,000 miles on it, and you know, my guess is that it is still the original engine that was in this '01 Aztek when it was taken off the assembly line and brought to the dealership. So I don't know. I mean, it's an old engine, could be worn. I can already tell from the oil change, not only because of the gasket issue, but we're probably going to find a lot of sludge. And that's probably a sign of just pure neglect from the past. People probably have not taken care of this engine as well as they should have. So, like I said, it could be done for, but I'm going to try it anyway, knowing that there's still a chance that I just might have to have an engine put in it. So there again, if you're using this as a tutorial, you know, I wish you the best, but you know, even myself, I will be using other various videos while I am going through this process. I guess that being said, you know, let's take a look at what we're dealing with. Like I said I was going to do, I've got some cardboard that I'm going to lay down. I've also got more cardboard in my escape that I'm going to put down on the ground. And like I said, I'm probably going to end up putting most of the pieces in the car while it's torn apart. And as far as tools go, you know, I'm just going to be working with whatever I have at the moment. I know for sure, you know, the socket set's going to be probably the majority of everything we're going to need. But I have a feeling there's going to be stuff that I don't have that I'm probably not going to be able to work around. So, you know, we'll just see how far we can get today. I know since I'm not going to be finishing this entire project today, the video, these vlogs are going to be like a little mini-series in itself. So consider this like part 1 of the Aztek engine teardown. So here's what we're working with. We've all seen this before. A 3.4 liter 3400 sequential fuel injected V6. Good engine, phenomenal engine. Unfortunately, plagued with head gasket intake, gaskets, and head gasket issues. Mostly intake, I think, were the main issue with this engine. So this is what we got to deal with. Now, a couple of things that I am going to mention. One thing that some people have mentioned in some of the videos on YouTube and such, drain the cooling system. Well, I'm not going to do that. You know, I asked a couple of people that I, you know, work with who are professional mechanics, actual, you know, technicians. Asked them, you know, would it make sense to drain the entire cooling system out while we start working on this? And they've all said no. Because you're not going to get all the coolant out anyway. It's still going to be a mess. Just work with it as it is. Once everything's put back together and such, I am going to take the rest of the coolant out, you know. We'll put new coolant in. So, we're not going to do that today. I'm not going to drain the oil because I don't think we're going to get that far down. So the oil is probably all settled in the crankcase anyway. So this engine's freezing. It hasn't been run all day. The last time I started it was yesterday morning. I had it running for just a minute or two because I wanted to see if the battery was going to start on its own, and it did, surprisingly enough. So I'm not going to drain the oil. You know, I might have to wait to do that when we get, you know, further down. So when I take off my radiator hoses and stuff, I'm expecting, you know, coolant to kind of fall out, and I'm going to put a you know, I do have a basin, or, you know, thing I'm going to put on the ground, along with the, well, this one's already destroyed because all the snow melted and all the rest of the fluid that was frozen is on it. But we're going to have some new cardboard down there. I've got some kitty litter also to absorb anything like this. You know, we'll take care of that. So, what else? I don't really think I'm going to have to tear any of this stuff out. The box can probably stay here, along with the washer fluid bottle. The battery may even be able to stay there. I was kind of looking at pictures from the last time I had my last Aztek worked on, and my mechanic was able to work around all this stuff. So we'll have to see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but we'll find out. So this harness here is basically our main, harness to this. It's very important. It's already undone. It was undone out of these clips when I got the car. So somebody tinkered with this already. This goes in there. I have no idea. This one's broke. Yeah, I see it now. So this clip's broke. Whatever. We can still use, this one. But all these harnesses were already undone. So somebody had tinkered with this at one time before. But we're going to be able to work around all this stuff. So you can see this harness goes from here. We have one, harness here. So we can unplug this, fold this back. This one goes to the alternator. So that'll obviously be able to be moved once we do get over there. And then the rest of them just travel up here, and you can kind of see where they split. So once all of this stuff, there's one that goes back to the alternator again. So once all of this is split, pulled apart, we should just be able to bring this entire harness up this way, and we can maybe even tuck it under the hood cable. So that should not be a problem. I'm going to try to get the belt off. I'm going to try to, we have to get the alternator off, and then hopefully we'll be able to work with the stuff back there. So I know this is going to be the hard part, I think, is really getting to the stuff back here. But once all this stuff's done, and then we get to the bare engine, I think we might be able to, it might not be as difficult from there. But I've never done this before, so I could just be full of crap. Everybody who's watching this, who has experience in this, is probably laughing their butts off now. But, it is what it is. I'm taking a crack at it. It's not a car that I need to have on the road right away, so I can take my time with it, gather all the research that I can, and go from there. So I've said it before, there are things that I'm not going to put back on when it comes time to put the motor back together. We're going to get new spark plugs. We're going to get new wires. I'm going to order this bypass tube because I really don't like how rusted it looks. I mean, that could just be, obviously it's just paint, but I don't know. It could be fragile, especially once we start working on getting it out. It might not be any good anyway, so I will have to get a new bypass tube. The alternator is still good, so I don't have to worry about the alternator. He said that the alternator was still pretty decent, and it seemed decent because this car was solely running off of the alternator every time the bad battery was not working. So we're going to do that. I might have said new belt already. I want a new belt. I don't know. So yeah, anything that we kind of pull off, I might have to just order and replace anyway, and it's obviously not going to be all at once, so putting it back together might take some time. So, I don't know. I guess this is it. The first thing I'm going to do, very important in this case, we're going to disconnect the battery. 5/16 worked perfectly. Just still trying to get down in there and get it disconnected, so I disconnected both. The negative and positive. Battery's completely disconnected. The Aztek is powerless yet again. It's pretty much safe to disconnect all of our electrical harnesses. I'm going to start with this one because this one seems to be the only one right now that is here, other than the alternator. What I'm assuming might be the alternator ground. So we have to, when we get to this one, we have to just undo that nut and bring this thing up here. We'll disconnect this. I think that might be it for this side. So then I said we follow this. Obviously it splits up this way, and this is where we're going to find the majority of our other harness. So we have another one going to the alternator. Is it the alternator? Yeah, there's a plug on the top of the alternator right here that's connected to that, and looks like we've got two other plugs connected to the same harness. You
can kind of see them there. Not exactly sure what they are, but they're close to the coil pack. So that's going to be that one harness here. This one goes to, I think, our EGR valve. These should just be simple. We should be able to squeeze the tangs and, yep, pop them right off. So that one's disconnected already. Let's see, then this one goes, it's kind of tough to see with the transmission dipstick. Let's see, these are the fuel lines here. Yeah, we'll get to those, but they go down there. Let's see, and then this one here goes to our mass airflow sensor. Might as well disconnect this one while we're at it. Okay, so there's that one. That same harness goes to this here, which I think is the is it the air temperature, the intake temperature sensor or something? I could be wrong, but so that'll come up. Oh, see, look how nice. So that's already free, so you can kind of just see already how easier everything is gonna look once all this stuff's disconnected. So let me work on getting the rest of these harnesses disconnected from their homes, and then we'll go to our next step. Okay, so here's the alternator wire. See, it's all by itself now. Put the nut back on the alternator so you don't lose it. So this we can somehow get out of the way for the time being, just for now. And then let's see. Like I said, that's this top harness on the alternator. Goes right on the top. Yeah, it goes right in here. So that's done. Then there's this little harness here. It goes into this. I think that's actually on the coil pack. And then there's this one behind it, down at the bottom. This one was kind of fun, but you can see, so it goes into this sensor here. So this entire harness is done. It routes under this tube, so we should be able to pull this one. There is something else on the harness. Where's that go? So there's a wire from the harness. Kind of see it sneaking around the back there, behind the spark plugs. I wonder where that's going. Interesting. Okay, so like I said, and then we have this unhooked. Got the EGR unhooked. These ones here can't really get to. I think we're going to have to take off the air snorkel. So we'll take the air snorkel off. We can undo this vacuum line there. Probably loose enough, but that should be good. Can we take the actual cover off too? Maybe that'll help. Okay, it's off. What I ended up doing, I actually took the cruise control module off, and that kind of gave me a little more room to kind of get the cable, so you can see it can kind of flex a little bit. So that just kind of snaps into that thing, and I pulled this off of the that support bar, giving it more room to come up. So this is off. You can see our mass airflow sensor needs some cleaning. So at some point I'll buy another can. We will clean out our mass airflow sensor. We got one out. Hooray, I guess. Let's take a look at this air filter. First time we're gonna look at it. Here we go. It's bad, but I thought it was gonna be worse than this. Ooh, look at our throttle body. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to clean that. Here's those fuel lines. This is probably the throttle position sensor. That's what that little harness goes to there. Let's see, can we get to a clip? Is there a way to get that off of there? On the side, maybe. Yep, okay, one off. There we go. It's orange. And can we get this one? I'm trying to be very careful not to break any of these plastic pieces. Okay, so that one's finally out. I had to use a screwdriver while I was kind of prying on the tang, try to pry it out. So let's see, that's that one. So this one goes into the throttle position sensor. This one goes down below it. And there's one more, it looks like connected to that, and it's got that blue tang on it. That's going to the fuel line, I bet. So that's probably the, my guess, maybe the fuel regulator, fuel pressure regulator. There was one going to the back, wasn't there? Yeah, there's one wire going back to there. This is our heater hose here. Is that? Oh, there it is. Right under the heater hose, it looks like. Let's see. There it is. See it? See the top? That's it. Oh, yes. All right. Awesome. So there's that. So that one's disconnected there. Alright, so that entire harness there is done. Just gotta work on getting this one for this fuel regulator. You know what? Never mind. After glancing at it, the tag is on the side, see? So I wedged it over a little bit. It'll pop back into place. Let's see if we can get that out of there. The transmission dipstick tube is really hindering some of the room that you have over here. Oh, it's almost out. There we go. Yeah. Alright, see, there we go. Alright, you can see all those harness now. Look, now that moves a little bit easier. Get it over around here. Oop, don't want to get stuck on anything. That would be bad. That would be real bad. And just like that, here's our wiring harness. So now we just got to work on keeping it out of the way. It's amazing how many of those, how many harness are actually, built into this entire line. It's amazing. We are going to have to work on getting this out of the way some more. Oh, that might help it when we actually undo this. So we push that in, just push it out, pop it out. Yep, seems to be the way to do it. Might need two hands instead of one. Oh, there we go. Nice. Now we got some room. Once these spark plug wires are out of the way too, then we can probably get more, bend out of this. All right, where do we go from here? We got this hose off. Oh, did the back come off? Or did that? Ew. Well, that's not good. I wonder where that came off of. It was back there. We'll probably find it. But this was the tube that went onto the snorkel, so I'll probably just stick that back in the snorkel so we don't lose it, and we know where it goes, or we have an idea of where it goes. So that was in this hole there, like so. We'll probably find out where it goes once we get to that side of the engine. Okay, now it looks like we can probably take our throttle body stuff off. Okay, so that's off. You're gonna hold the throttle open like that, and then bring the cable out from behind its little niche there, and then push it through the front, and that's how that comes out. So this one's for the throttle. This is the one with the black clip. That's for the cruise control.
So again, it works both ways. You need to just have slack on the cable to get these off. Let's see how easy we can get that thing off. I have no idea what size it's going to be. I wonder if it's metric or standard. Yeah, I guess we'll just start with the metric. Oh, perfect. Number 8. Now those are rusted. I can't wait to see if this is going to really work or not. So there's 2 bolts on the top. Yeah, probably not. Oh, there we go. Hopefully it didn't break it. I don't know. Actually, once it breaks off, it feels pretty free. There's one. And I'm going to put them back in the body, once I get this thing off. Is that one bigger? That's a bigger one, isn't it? Too big? Nope, 10's perfect. Need my bigger ratchet now. So this is what it feels like to be a real mechanic, huh? There we go. Sheesh. Okay, is that it? Oh, maybe. Put that there for now. Oh, yep, that's all it takes. Okay, so I don't know where that's going to hang for now. We'll just kind of put it there. Okay, and now we could probably disconnect the PVC valve, which I might end up replacing. You can see the sludge in there. Didn't sound like it was plugged up when it when it runs, but and this tube, that tube goes to this regulator. So I don't really know. I mean, I think we're gonna end up taking the regulator off. I think probably just pull the rest of the tube out. I'm thinking from the looks of it. Yep, just like that. So we'll throw this in the car. This is an obvious piece, you know what this goes to. Our small collection of parts inside of the Aztek is growing. Alright. So, I suppose now maybe we could take the throttle body off. I see one bolt here. This is going to be difficult with these fuel lines in the way. I mean, we're probably going to have to take those off anyway, I'm thinking. Is that a bolt down there? Can't tell. Oh, there's one back. No, is that? No. Oh, I see one bolt so far. No. There's one at the bottom. Is it just 2 bolts that hold the throttle body on? Guess we're about to find out. Same size? No. It's bigger. Don't forget to put these back into these holes so we know where they go. Turns out is a 13. It just looks like there's a lot more room now. Just with some of this stuff, out from under here. Okay, there's one. And I'm assuming the other one was over here. So it turns out, upon further inspection, you see our oh, you know, the thing I gotta replace, this bypass tube here. Well, it runs all the way under here, and look, here's our bypass tube, and there's one hose there, and there's another hose here, and it turns out, you see this thing, this little plate? Well, that, oh, I don't want to scratch my camera up. Let's see, that's, there. So this is where the second, there's a nut on here, and that helps keep the throttle body on. So this plate is probably going to have to be bent out of the way, and then that'll loosen our throttle body. So you can see I kind of got it broken from the, you know, from the top here, and you know, so I think the pliers are still in the back of the tech, my needle nose pliers. So we'll use that to kind of move the those clamps out. Yeah, there they are. We're probably gonna have a, you know, coolant fall at this point. Okay, so getting the throttle body off has so far been the most challenging thing that I've run into. The bypass tube, the two hoses, the one here and the other one over there, they're disconnected. Turns out they both go into the bottom of the throttle body. So you can kind of see the throttle body is loose. But I can't seem to get this plate, you can't see it, I don't think, can you? Move the throttle body up, maybe. Yeah, see this? It's attached to the bypass tube, and it's, you can't go down far enough. Yeah, see the screw? That's what keeps the throttle body on. So I'm trying to pull this enough to you know, get it off that screw, but I'm not having any luck. The throttle body wants to come off. Can't really wiggle it off, can I? I don't know. Yeah. Well, as you can see, it's starting to get dark now. Throttle body's loose. I found out there's actually, I think, another nut behind the plate that is on the bypass tube. The only problem is I'm having a hard time getting to it from this angle. So what I'm thinking now is I wonder if I actually have to take the throttle body off at this point, because I think everything else, we got the hoses undone underneath, and those are connected to the throttle body. But I wonder if we could just leave the throttle body on here when we take the top off of this. That's kind of what I'm thinking of doing now. I might just bolt this back in for the time being, because we're going to have to change the gasket anyways. But I bet if we get this top off, then getting the actual throttle body off is probably going to be a little bit easier. I went as far as disconnecting the upper radiator hose, which you can kind of see some gunk in there. Also, that doesn't look too good. You can't really, oh wait. Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of it in there. Throttle body. And then I took the bypass tube off of the water pump. So one screw holds that on, and there's a gasket we're going to have to, I think, put back on it. I think it came in my head gasket kit. This hose here, I can't get off the top of it. It's really small, but the bottom one, that hose there, that came right off after a little while. So the water pump is now open. We've got some green coolant in there. It's amazing because the coolant, unless somebody put new coolant in here, the coolant does not look that bad. So I don't know. Can't really get the bypass tube out. It's wedged between the motor mount and the valve cover, and it goes underneath this motor mount. So, yeah. But guys, I don't know. I think I'm done for the day. I didn't really get as far as I was hoping. But hey, at least we kind of opened all this up. So, basically, we undid the battery. We carefully found all of our wiring harness that had to be taken off and carefully moved back here. We got the throttle and cruise control cables off. We got the throttle body loose, but now I'm thinking I probably don't have to actually have it off at this time. I guess we'll find out. Air cleaner's out, air box cover is out with snorkel. That's pretty much it. So hey, at least we got it started, guys. We got the project started. If it's nice enough in a couple days, I might work on it again. So I know we're supposed to have rain. It's supposed to be warmer, but there's a chance of rain. So I don't know, but I should probably start cleaning up what I can before I lose all the rest of my light. But that's it. It's officially started. If you've enjoyed this, you found it interesting, if you want to leave any kind of information in the comments, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Also check out teespring.com/stores/Mike's Vehicle Spotlight for all of your MVS and vlog merchandise. And that's really all that I've got at this time. So the good news is I didn't lose anything yet. All of the pieces, not only to my tool set and stuff, but all of our pieces are still here. And that's a good thing. So I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.